Hey everyone, welcome back to Gardening with Melon. We are here in the garden today and we got Jack with us. Say hi, Jack. Here with my dad. And we're gonna be looking at what we grew out so far. So last week we planted these marigold flowers. Oh, Jack likes them. And then we have some sunflowers. These are the ones with the curved leaves. And then we have some corn. These are the ones that have more straight leaves. So as you can see, we have a whole line of them. We have multiple rows. We got a row against the side of sunflowers. We have a row of corn, and then we have some smaller corn still coming up. So we got lots of corn and sunflowers that will be shooting up soon. I'm excited to see those grow. We still have our carrots over here. They're growing well. Our lemon cucumbers, they're also looking really good. They've grown a bit since last week. We have our strawberries, which are starting to flower a little bit. So hopefully we'll have some strawberries soon. We have marigolds and we have our cilantro, that's the herb. Did any of you start an herb garden? We have some tomatoes. Oh, and there's my dad starting to water the corn.
Row of corn I planted yesterday.
Oh, what was that?
A row of corn I planted yesterday.
You planted a row of corn yesterday? Oh, and then this is Jack. He thinks that it's his own personal water fountain. And then here we have our carrots, some more carrots, and then our bell peppers, our orange and yellow bell peppers. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about how we make sure that there are good plants in good insects in our garden. So, come on, Jack. So I had actually just put this little butterfly in. Is Jack okay? Jack drank too much water. So we put this little butterfly art piece in our garden, and what it's representing is one of the really good insects in the garden. So butterflies and bees, they are pollinators. So for plants to reproduce and be really healthy, they need to get their pollen from different plants. So this flower right here, it has pollen right in the middle. It's a little orangey yellowness, and what it wants is it wants bees and butterflies to fly around, collect the pollen, and then bring it to a different plant. And that helps it so that they can reproduce and make more plants later. So it's really important to have pollinators, and it's really important to have other insects also. So I'm going to talk about the best insects. So we're going to come over here, and I have something printed out to help explain what insects are good for the garden and which ones aren't. So, as you can see, like I said, bees are really good for the garden. They're pollinators. They don't eat any of the vegetables or the fruits. They're just there to get the pollen and move it around. And then, as you know, as you probably know, they make really delicious honey. So they're very good. Ladybugs are also really good because they eat bad insects. They eat insects like aphids that like to eat the petals of your flower or the leaves on your plants. So they help get rid of bad insects. So this shows all the good insects. These are all the bad insects. So most spiders are good for your garden. So even if you think spiders are kind of spooky, they're actually good because they help get rid of insects that will eat your plants. Praying mantises are good for your garden. A fun fact about them, they can turn their head 180 degrees. That's half of a circle. I bet even if you tried, you wouldn't be able to do that, but I'd be careful trying. Also, earwigs are good for your garden, and so are ants. Ants are actually one of my favorite insects because they're just workers and they mind their own business. Some people really don't like ants, but I really like them. And then just a few insects that are not good for your garden. Slugs are really not good for your garden. I like slugs. I think they're fun to watch, slugs and snails, but they like to eat all the vegetables in your garden and the leaves, and it's just really a bummer. So if you keep these good insects around, they'll help make sure that there aren't as many slugs. Also, a lot of different types of worms aren't good for the garden, but earthworms, they don't cause any problems. So one thing that you might ask is, why don't we just use a pesticide or a chemical in our garden to help make sure that we don't have any of these bad insects eating our garden? And the reason why is because pesticides have a lot of chemicals in them, and those chemicals aren't very good for us to eat. So we don't want to have to put that on our plants. They also do almost too good of a job. They'll kill all the insects, so they'll kill the good ones too. And that's bad because you don't want to damage the honeybees, because they're helping to pollinate and they create honey. And also, even the bad insects, you don't want to kill them all. You want to make sure that they have a place to live, just not in your garden. You don't want them in your garden. So using a chemical pesticide isn't very good, and it can be kind of expensive when all you got to do is help make sure that you have these good insects in your garden, and then maybe you have to pick a couple snails off the side of your planter box if you see one every once in a while. But overall, just keep the good insects around. And you know, what we like to do is that hardware stores or gardening stores, they sell bags of ladybugs. The ladybugs don't mind at all because they're not there very long. So you just open the bag and then you set them free in your garden, and it's so cool. You see a whole bunch of ladybugs all over your garden, and they find a new home to live, and they really help your garden. All right, so I'm really glad that I was able to share with you some information about bugs and which ones are good for your garden. So here's our garden, and as time goes by, we hope that we get more good insects in our garden so they can help keep the bad insects out. And we're just gonna keep watching to see how much everything grows, and we will make sure to check in with you next week and garden some more with you. All right, thanks so much. Bye everyone.